crosstalk. Crosstalk is a debate in which two worlds of argument, so to speak, collide. And today, the question we are popping is simple and straightforward. Should Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State be impeached? You know, whatever happened amongst the EFCC on the one hand and the incumbent Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State with his predecessor Yahaya Bello is a matter for deep regret. As always, it divides opinion in the land. My combatants today are geared up to take sides on the question: should Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State be impeached? What follows will naturally be the question: what's his offense? And for that matter, has he committed an impeachable one? Okay. The combatants, let's meet and greet them. Tochukwu Ezukama is a town planner, biographer, and political commentator. Tochukwu, I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Citizen Jones, for having me.
On the other side would be Barrister Evans Ufeli. He's also a constitutional lawyer and a public affairs analyst. Evans, I greet you.
Thank you. Morning.
Gentlemen, straightforward. Should Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State be impeached?
No.
It should be impeached.
All right. Let's start with the no.
The thing is that you talked about deep regret. There are too many things to regret in Nigeria. We have these are just more of symptoms of deeper problems. When a man becomes a lord, a man becomes more powerful than the institutions. When the legislator at the state level is merely a rubber stamp parliament, then a man can decide who will replace him, irrespective of what the will of the people is. And that's what happened with Ododo. He literally picked Ododo from nowhere and made him governor. I saw a footage of where Ododo was being grateful to his political godfather, Yahaya Bello. He handled him as a kid. I think he knelt down before him, and the way he patted his back like, you are a good boy. So that showed you the position of Ododo to start with. Ododo is in a very desperate situation. And Ododo also had to give him an appointment, office of the former governor. So Ododo is being teleguided. Ododo is like being pushed around and had very little or no choice. That's one problem. So I don't think there's much room for him to be independent-minded and to act independently. Secondly, we have criminals, semi-criminals, that will know that the police is looking for them and they hand themselves into the police. They go to the police station and surrender themselves. Now you have a governor who was entrusted with the fate, economic fate, social fate of millions of people, who is running away from the law. It shows how far we've degenerated morally and ethically in this country. So what Ododo did is impeding the process of the law, being an accessory to the escape of an alleged criminal. But it's not an impeachable offense. Impeachable offense will mean a breach of the Constitution or gross abuse of office. And there has not been any case of these in this particular issue. So he should not be impeached.
I'll take that line, that phrase. But what Ododo has committed is not an impeachable offense. Yes, Vice Evans.
Yes, my opponent was almost arguing my direction because from all he has said, the facts deducible from what he has said point to the fact that Ododo should actually be impeached. Except that the only expression he made there, which is that he should not be impeached, but I'd also said that he is an accessory.
He laid the groundwork.
Yes, this is an accessory. So the truth is this, that a governor, it is expected that a governor carries with him the mandate of the people, meaning that he's voted into power to govern, and he takes an oath the moment he wins an election and is sworn in. He takes an oath to defend the Constitution. And the Constitution, clearly puts his responsibility on the track. One of his responsibilities is not to be an accessory after the fact. One of his responsibilities is not to aid and abet the or preventing law enforcement agencies from arresting and prosecuting a suspect. That's not his responsibility. His responsibility is to ensure that the security and welfare of the people is guaranteed by the Constitution. So for Ododo to, go to a scene of an arrest and then prevent the EFCC from carrying out their lawful function is gross misconduct. It's an abuse of office. It's an abuse of the immunity clause as predicated under Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. And as such, if we have a House of Assembly, a State House of Assembly that have a mind of its own, for which we have not seen that lately in most all the states, by now, the news, the discourse in the media should be on the notice of impeachment of Ododo from the State House of Assembly. We have not seen that. That is gross misconduct. It's an abuse. It's a disgrace to the state. So he was
impeachable.
It's impeachable. Yes, it's gross misconduct. He took an oath to defend the Constitution. That's what you do as a governor when you become a governor. Okay. Then throughout your reign, you are meant to defend that Constitution on the basis of that oath. So what he did amounts to lying on that oath, because he's not defending the Constitution by resisting arrest. In fact, Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution clearly states that the right to life of every Nigerian is guaranteed by the Constitution, okay? But there are exceptions. One of it is that the ground upon which your right to life can be taken away from you is if a court of law has convicted that person, and the penalty for that punishment is death.
But Ododo has not been convicted.
No, hold on. I'm talking about the exception. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
The exception, another exception to that rule is that if you resist arrest or you collaborate with people to resist arrest and possibly there's an accidental discharge or the police deliberately or the DSS, there's an encounter, under that situation, your right to life cannot be guaranteed. Where there's mutiny, insurrection, riots, and the forces are deployed to quell the riot, that moment, your right to life cannot be guaranteed. Now, if the EFCC had stopped the governor's vehicle and the DSS with the governor, if they have had an encounter wherein they open fire, if the governor is shot there, in fact, the life of everybody in that vicinity within that period cannot be guaranteed by the Constitution. So what it means is that this is a man who has violated the Constitution. Not only did he violate the Constitution, he also took people alongside with him to do complete damage of the provisions of the Constitution that he took an oath to defend. That's gross misconduct. That's an abuse of office. That's abuse of his immunity. And that's abuse of anything you can think of. It's a bunch of illegality. So if we have a right State House of Assembly, by now, that notice would have been served on him. And by now, the 7-man panel would have been set up. There will be deliberations and it should be impeached accordingly.
Yeah, so aren't we up against a brick wall here?
No, we are not up against a brick wall here. Because to dwell on Usman Ododo is leaving the problem, the illness, the cause of the illness and treating the symptom. When a system has allowed the gubernatorial position of a man to hinge precariously on the whims of one man, it was Yahaya Bello that made him. And he knows that Yahaya Bello can also institute a process that might remove him. So he's a helpless man. that must do the bidding of his political godfather.
So
And that's,
two wrongs cannot make a right.
no, that's what I'm saying. That's also symptom is a wrong, but the cause of the symptom is the disease, the problem. So we deal with the problem, and the symptom will take care of itself. So that's what it's happening in this case. By extension, the Constitution is a collection of all the laws of the land. So a breach of any law, by extension, is a breach of the Constitution. If the red light says red and I run through it, I have breached the Constitution by that very broad definition of the word Constitution, okay? So that a man helped an alleged criminal to escape is
illegal.
It's illegal.
Illegal,
But every illegal act is not a breach of the Constitution.
Governor. It's not just a man. It's a governor,
yeah,
other authority
it's
should not assist to enhance
it's a criminal offense. Nobody's questioning it. Running a red light is a criminal offense. Stealing money from the coffers of your church is a criminal offense. But you cannot equate all of them to the breach of the Constitution. So unless you really want to take license and broaden the definition of breach of Constitution to be so encompassing.
This is a breach. The gross misconduct is a breach of the Constitution.
Well, the gross is a misconduct. It's a question of definition,
so-
gross or...
Gross, yeah.
Gross, or-
Let me introduce here,
Yes.
this here. There were two court pronouncements. Ufeli, you lead us here.
Yes.
Regarding...
there were two court pronouncements.
Yeah.
One was obtained...
Tochuku, you want to listen
Yes,
religiously?
One was obtained from the Kogi State High Court, wherein it is the prayers there were that the Honorable Court should restrain the EFCC from harassing, intimidating, and making attempts to arrest Yahaya Bello. Okay? That one is a valid order. Now, the EFCC went to the Federal High Court in Abuja, obtained an order of court, like a warrant of arrest, which in itself is not subject to any other order, because a warrant of arrest is you are asking the court to give you authority. In fact, in every case, police obtain that warrant of arrest before they go ahead to arrest. Okay, in some places, when you go to arrest, if you have a very knowledgeable suspect, you will ask the police for the warrant, and that must be produced before you follow them. You understand? That is a regular order. You understand? Now, what the law says is that you cannot obtain an order to stop the law enforcement agencies from carrying out their constitutional function, their role. That EFCC was established by an extant law, and the law gave them the power to
Of arrest.
investigate and arrest and prosecute. You understand? You cannot then go to court to get an order to stop them from that. However, you can go to court and get an order to restrain the EFCC from abusing those powers, or from doing the wrong thing, or doing things that are contrary to those functions and powers given to them by it. So that's what happened. And in this case, the EFCC actually have the right to do that. And they went to his house on the basis of that order of warrant of arrest, to get him to be arraigned the next day, only to meet a brick wall. One, they met the security details of Yahaya Bello. Two, Governor Ododo left his duty post and swung into illegality. He went with his own security, the DSS. The state began to work against the state.
Ufeli, but the standoff took all of 5 hours,
Yes.
within which you expect something to have been done.
Yes. In
From
this
the
case,
top.
yes, nothing happened, because the IG, the chairman of the EFCC, and the third one is
The commander-in-chief.
the chairman of the DSS, the DG of the DSS.
Yes.
Were all working at cross purpose, because if they were together, they would have resolved that issue. The president also, I don't know why the control from the president to all this because they are all appointees of the president.
Yes.
So the boss talks at the president. So this embarrassment would have been averted. And if not that the EFCC acted professionally, there would have been a serious scuffle there.
A messy
one. So
yeah.
we should prevent issues like this. Because investors are looking at, okay, this is where we're coming to invest. This is a lawless society. And that is why Ododo should be impeached and prosecuted. Because once he loses his immunity, the right security agencies will go after him the next day. The things that Yahaya Bello did while he was in power that led EFCC to move against him are exactly the things that Ododo is also doing now. So when he loses his immunity, he's going to have his share.
Don't you? So the man should be impeached.
No, he shouldn't be impeached. But let me state for the record that it is wrong and it is criminal for a former governor to try to elude the law enforcement agencies. That's wrong. It is also wrong for the present governor to choose to be an accessory to the escape of an alleged criminal.
Using state resources.
Well, governor
as an engine of
governor uses state resources.
Yes, but not for illegal activities. It's using for illegal activities.
Even the pen he uses to sign,
when the state was not working against the state.
Even the pen used to steal the billions they steal is state pen. The table, the desk, the house, the office, they are all state owned. So, but the thing is that the system, like you say, that those who would have acted were working at cross purpose. So it tells you about the rot, the moral squalor in the system. The IG did nothing.
The IG did something by removing the security orderlies to the former governor.
That was after the scene.
Okay, but I'm quoting him.
That was after
he said that nobody acted decisively. During the standoff, that those that would have acted were working at cross purposes. And these are all the appointees of the president. And like every president will say, the buck stops at my desk. I am in charge. We can speculate all we want. We can blame people all we want, but we have elected one man to be our president, and that's the man we hold accountable. And in this standoff, we didn't see him acting decisively. We didn't see him taking charge. So something is wrong with the system as a whole. The rot in the system boggles the mind.
Don't you think punishing people for offense committed will help the system?
So Dodo is more of a cog in the system. He is just more of a tool for the powers that be. And the system that made a governor a houseboy to a former governor should be faulted.
It's not the system that made him so. It is the former governor that made him so.
The system allowed
not the system.
Trump, for example, in the US, wanted to remain in power indefinitely because power feels good. And Trump has been a crook all his life, even as a real estate developer. So he brought his crookedness into the US politics. But the system didn't allow it. The institutions stopped him. So our institutions, our system, allow
because they are weak.
Because they are weak and being manipulated by those that benefit from the disorder in the system. So he committed an offense, undoubtedly.
And he should not be impeached.
No, it's not. Not every offense. Not every offense is an impeachable
but
offense.
If you allow this to pass, it means that we're going to have a repeated case of, because the State House of Assembly, they have a duty under the law. And their duty under the law is to oversight the executive, from approvals to all they are required to do by law. Okay? But part of that responsibility is to ensure that they protect the sanctity of the office of the governor of the state. Because now it is soiled. Now the governor acted like a tout. He did not just do that. He mobilized people to do that. He also mobilized people from his own tribe, because that is missing, from his own tribe, to hail him. They were his, they hailed him, they were chanting songs, they subdued the state with legality and hash that criminality. And
All right,
We should not impeach a governor that has done that.
It's all criminal.
Gentlemen, let me step in
He must be
here.
impeached.
Time is tight. We must begin to run this thing home. Tochukwu, in 60 seconds,
Yes.
can you take it from the top?
I'm taking it from the top.
Yeah.
What?
The debate.
Okay, in 60 seconds, what Governor Usman Ododo did is regrettable. It boggles the mind. It leaves you want to cry for this country. But it's an egregious act of criminality. But then, on the other hand, it's not an impeachable act of criminality. So when he leaves office, he should be arrested, prosecuted, and punished, but should not be impeached for this criminal act.
How do you take it up?
Well, I think Ododo should be impeached immediately, with immediate effect, because what he did is gross misconduct. And under the Constitution, when a governor decides to, turn the process and proceedings of governing a state on its head, that governor will have no moral justification to point accusing finger on anybody, including those working in his office for wrongdoing, because he has instituted wrongdoing as a practice in that state. So henceforth, if he's not punished immediately, it means that very soon you are going to have more problems, because people are now encouraged and emboldened that if the governor can throw caution to the wind to this level, to transform himself to an accessory and to move into a scene that is supposed to be protected, that's supposed to be cordoned off from the public, because someone has to be arrested and call for questioning. It means that the governor himself must be impeached by the State House of Assembly. Now, this is a message to the State House of Assembly. If they did not do that, they would have betrayed the trust of the citizens. The trust the citizens reposed on them and elected them to represent their respective constituency. It will be a betrayal of trust, and they too could be liable to be recalled by their people. And I hereby call on the people of Kogi State to watch this case. Give them at least 2 weeks. If they do not file a notice of impeachment or serve in a notice of impeachment, the people of that state should rally around, get the required constitutional number, and impeach Governor Ododo.
All right, we end the debate here, but not before thanking Barrister Evans Ofeli for his time, and Tochukwu Ezukama for his time too.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Well, we are told that judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. But the debate must continue in your part of town. The coming days will be very, very interesting indeed. I want to thank you for your time. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.